today's video, we are going to talk about the serial killer of 2024. Karim Selim, better known as the serial killer of the Fifth Settlement, is often compared to notorious figures like Ted Bundy due to his ability to hide his dark side behind a facade of charm and sophistication. He embodies the classic definition of a serial killer with three distinct personalities, two that were familiar to those around him, and a third known only to his victims. Fifth Settlement, a high-class area in Egypt, became the backdrop for his horrific crimes. Kareem held both Egyptian and American nationalities, which played a significant role in his movements and activities. Before we delve into the details, we must acknowledge the commendable efforts of the Egyptian security forces in capturing this dangerous criminal. This is the complete story of Karim Selim, the serial killer of the Fifth Settlement. Karim Selim was born in Alexandria in 1987 into a prosperous and respectable family. From a young age, he was known for his desire to stand out and be different from those around him. Anything unusual that could make Karim unique, he was eager to try. After completing his primary education, his entire family moved to America, but Karim stayed behind in Egypt to finish his university studies at the American University in Cairo. His university peers described him as a respectful, elegant, and courteous individual. This was Karim's first personality, known to many. He was seen as a person of good breeding, always polite and well-dressed. After graduating, Karim joined his father's trade business, but yearned for independence. He wanted to prove that his success wasn't solely due to his father's wealth. To achieve this, Karim pursued a PhD in psychology at the American University, focusing on human behavioral adjustment, a field that ironically related closely to his own hidden tendencies. It was as if he was studying himself, trying to understand and perhaps control his darker urges. Upon completing his doctorate, he met his wife in Alexandria. This introduction marked the beginning of his second personality, a well-educated, sophisticated, and courteous man. His new role as a PhD holder and a cultivated individual enhanced his social standing. This image remained with Karim for a long time, significantly influencing his interactions with others. After their marriage, Karim and his wife moved to America to join his family, with the intention of never returning to Egypt. Karim's American citizenship facilitated their move. During their 5-year stay in the US, they had a son, Zayn, who became the center of Karim's life. However, conflicts soon arose. Karim's wife began to notice his suspicious and quarrelsome nature. His constant need to feel superior led to numerous arguments. She also observed that Karim relied heavily on his father's wealth and refused to take advice from anyone. These issues led to their decision to return to Egypt in early 2017, where they opened a tattoo studio in the Fifth Settlement. Karim chose the Fifth Settlement for its upscale environment, and their studio thrived for 2 years, mainly due to his wife's efforts. During this time, Karim started exhibiting problematic behavior at the international school where he worked. His increasing drug use, especially of substances like ice, became apparent. Despite attempting to appear calm and cultured, his erratic behavior led to his dismissal from the school. Karim's marriage deteriorated further, culminating in a divorce after he accused his wife of infidelity and filed an adultery lawsuit against her. He took custody of their son and moved to a well-known compound in the Fifth Settlement. In public, Karim maintained the image of a well-respected university professor and a sophisticated individual. However, this facade hid his darker third personality, known only to his victims. After the divorce, Kareem sought to appear as the ideal father on TikTok, sharing videos teaching English and parenting tips, all while concealing the truth from his son about his mother's existence. He presented himself as a loving and dedicated father, striving to teach his son valuable life skills and good behavior. His TikTok fame grew, and many were impressed by his eloquent English and refined mannerisms. He amassed 600,000 followers on TikTok who were unaware of his sinister side. Kareem's obsession with drugs, particularly ice, fueled his sadistic tendencies. He created a soundproof room in his apartment where he could inflict torture without detection. This was a calculated move, ensuring that his dark activities remained hidden from his neighbors and even from his own son. He started frequenting cafes, luring young women with promises of money or services, leveraging his social media fame to gain their trust. Once they were in his apartment, he would subject them to extreme torture and sexual assault, often resulting in their deaths by strangulation. His victims were often young women who were impressed by his appearance and social status. Kareem's killing spree began as he lured women to his apartment, engaged in sadistic rituals, and ultimately killed them. His method included severe physical abuse, using whips and other instruments of torture, and escalating to strangulation with ropes or chains. Post-mortem sexual assaults were also part of his horrifying acts. He disposed of the bodies in remote desert areas, ensuring they were unrecognizable and untraceable. Kareem chose his victims carefully, often targeting women who were unlikely to be missed quickly. He frequented various neighborhoods, selecting women from different backgrounds and age groups to avoid raising suspicion. His meticulous planning and execution made him a formidable adversary to the authorities. Now, this is the most important part: how he got arrested. But before we dive into the dramatic details of his capture, if you're enjoying this video and want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more content like this. Now let's uncover how the authorities finally caught up with this notorious criminal. The breakthrough came when a group of people found a severely disfigured body on the desert road to Port Said, leading to an investigation by the security forces. Forensic analysis of multiple bodies revealed similar patterns of torture and drug use. Identifying the victims through DNA, the authorities connected them to Kareem, who had been the last person seen with one of the victims. Security forces scrutinized surveillance footage, revealing Kareem's luxury car near the crime scenes. Despite his initial denials and attempts to use his American citizenship as a shield, Karim eventually confessed to the murders and led the police to additional victims. The discovery of his soundproof room, complete with torture devices and drug paraphernalia, along with numerous videos documenting his crimes, sealed his fate. Karim Selim, whose story resembles that of infamous global serial killers, demonstrated a chilling blend of intelligence and brutality. His case serves as a stark reminder of the evil that can hide behind a facade of normalcy and sophistication. Kareem's trial was a media sensation, with extensive coverage of his horrific crimes. The court proceedings revealed the full extent of his depravity, with detailed testimonies from forensic experts, psychologists, and investigators. The public was shocked by the revelation of his dual life and the gruesome nature of his crimes. In the end, Karim Selim was sentenced to life imprisonment, a verdict that brought some closure to the families of his victims. The case highlighted the importance of vigilance and the need for effective law enforcement to prevent such heinous crimes.